Nautilus mine, we know it's a Canadian company. It's in this. It has no experience. It's building some of its technology outside currently, and it's looking for resource for it. It's the first of its kind. It's a Canadian company. The Canadian government doesn't allow for deep sea mining. The Environmental Impact Authority doesn't allow for those. It's a no-go. We want to make sure it's more than 15 years of research. Then you get confidence. Only then you get confidence.
Nautilus, they use cameras. If you go to the website, they use cameras, they're taking pictures. They don't have the live animals like us. Yeah, I went to the website and they took pictures with the camera there.
So they never actually extracted anything on the seabed, and they argument that there is no life on the seabed.
No, that's false. Now we know there's a complex life is established down in the deep sea, especially where they're going to mine. Because you know you have this plates that's subsiding, you know, and then on the other side there are a lot of tectonic activity. That's why you see these vents coming up, and they're going to harvest those vents, hydrothermal vents. They're looking for the hydrothermal vents, and hydrothermal vents, as I've said yesterday, they are the ones that produce energy through chemosynthesis. The bacteria harvest those chemical energy, and they are the primary producers. And then this food chain actually occur because of those chemical energy and the bacteria, the specialized bacteria that can harvest those energy, and in this intent we'll have this very nice food chain. Now you have well-established ecosystem around these hydrothermal vents, and we don't even know maybe 1% of those, especially in our waters. And every year they're discovering 20 new species. Every year. And one vent community compared with the other vent community, completely different. Different colonies, different colonizers.
Fisheries that could have contributed meaningfully here. So the consultation in terms of seeking for advice wasn't done very well in terms of this. So that's what I mean by the research here is insufficient. And so that's the AIS that we believe it's not done properly. We know up in New Ireland about those are breeding grounds, those areas that the data has told us the kind of tuna that migrate up there in, let's say, the big eye, the yellowfin, the skipjack. And so when this affects, they can easily move it somewhere else, because this what I call, if you talk about sediment load and nutrients, it's going to be there, not there. They will move, because this is a big fish that their body needs a fair bit of nutrients, and if it's affected, they will move. But this hasn't been included in the EIS in terms of research, and that's why we're saying these guys haven't done enough work to advise the government. What I believe is important is we don't understand this very well. That's basically because of the lack of information, the lack of data that you don't have. You cannot apply the same information from elsewhere, whether it's from Australia, Russia, wherever, New Zealand. In this kind of environment, you need to collect the data where you're collecting it from. First you start with the data, the science, the research, and slowly and gradually you should be able to come up and help the government with saying, here is the law, and here is the policy from credible research in your own backyard. And at the moment it's not. Nautilus is only 2 years, unless in places 6 months. In most cases, like I've always told you, all models are useless. In summary of phase 1, Solowara started its contributions on science. The needs for more information is needed. Many risks and hazards are poorly analyzed. No mitigation strategies are discussed in the EIS, and EIS is not fit for the purpose. Overall, like I said, I think the credibility of understanding this is not there. The confidence is not there, the experience is not there, and overall, Papua New Guinea and the Pacific, if it does go, will be the guinea pigs or the biggest losers. The Nautilus company, we all know it's an investment, as an investment agenda. We know the PNG laws and policies are not in place to protect the health and the people of this nation. Both the government and Nautilus don't have experience in deep sea mining in the world. The delay in Solowara operations under precautionary principle related to the international treaty is important, and I think it needs to improve. I think overall, I think if government was smart, you defer it. You defer the operation of this. Let one Solowara move outside or test it somewhere else, or develop the technology. If the wish is so that you come back in the next 50, 100 years to develop it, if you don't understand the oceans, the environment, and its risks involved, then we should best to leave it as it is. And overall, I think the underlying advice is you don't need to go there yet, because the resource of this country is massive.
The land-based resource.
The land-based resource is massive.
Now, Papua New Guinea, how many mines do we have on the land? You've got how much more mining companies on the land? We have hundreds of companies on the land. Where does all the money goes to? And we're going to the sea to get some money to fund the budget. No, that is a selfish way. We're doing that for our own selfish gain. We're just using the vulnerable people who don't know, or not understanding something. Now you may just use him all on this ignorance blow. Now we just want to get rich and get out.
I agree. I'm for the development, not a problem. But it's just a trade-off, you know. Trade-off. We shouldn't destroy our environment more than what we gain in the long term. But I'm for the development, not a problem. But in this case now, the deep sea and Bismarck, no, I think this is. I think the economy of that is more minimum compared to the damage to the environment, as I see right now. So we have to do more studies before we actually try to, do the real thing. Yeah. And as I've said, I'm really, as I've said, the deep sea organization, we're just trying to know them now and trying to scratch the surface and just beginning to know them, and if we're gonna wipe them out again from the earth, surface of the earth. I mean, this is we're gonna do a very big injustice not to the ecosystem itself, but to us as well. Which in the long run, we are connected.
Life is an organism.
We are connected, yes. We are connected.
Osem na imi mama now you may start until papa no can long. Planita you may long finish. Now I mean no time long. Now time long come pass long time long run in place long all picking you may carry. No can carry all picking na papa mama you may long. Long you come in na. Now time long sanak talking more government you may make him all finish or make him mouse from me plan long inside long house parliament. You must talk him all of some seabed mining by none of kama. You may all man Mary picking inside the Madang province na making Papua New Guinea gata mi play talk nogat. Mi play no like him seabed mining.
We really need to support our leaders. All Papa Mama bring me lo community. Lo talk na fight strong lo start something after all them ground living. We still have the power of our land, our water. All no got the land by intimidating you mean to make him number no ground living. Something you mean no sawa you mean no can try.
When people look at this, you talk about, I've signed an agreement. It's not signing, you're signing an agreement for an important case. If you can pay them, it's no big deal. But even in Australia, in Darwin, they just said no to mining in the ocean. In terms of fishing ground in Darwin, they were trying to develop the deep sea one, and because of the Aborigines, they said no to them. And the state just took it, full stop. It's a traditional fishing ground. If you want to, ask the government to, ask the Nautilus to leave, yes you can.
Politicians must stop long here, long understand them. When them cry long people, they must know. They must know. Also me talk finish. Are they in for the people or are they in for themselves? Now suppose all you go inside long all yet, you will never ever get this across. No matter how hard you may try, you may by none of blood achieve. Law MC down finish. Law M allowing finish. Law M granting finish 1,000 licenses. Or maybe 2,000 licenses. Long mine across long the seabed, yeah? So you tell me how you're going to rip that out. Only must kiss him sour. Only must sour what is going to happen to them. Now make him there's a thing go long people long or representative long na go back to Parliament. But this is important. For those of you now you play workless and upload here, you get across over there and sign the petition. It's important for you. Maybe you don't upload go to Parliament na sentence him, but you at least show him or express him. When him you got on him, so that the government knows how the people feel. It's going to affect you and me and our children. Now all bubu behind you me too. There is something big coming. Now you and I must stand together and walk in this or something.
All members Lumibla, representative Lumibla, there needs to be a good debate. Only must debate good. Lo one point all sana pro supporting Mr. Ting. Government count the Ting blood. Opposition count the Ting blood. Now me plus scale him out on points. Whatever necessary valid points all sana no look talk. Come out him so that we see and we find the validity. Is it right? Is it necessary to have the mining go and kicked off in our island? Only the debate na come up on the point no na me look so debate and want something too. Public consultation. Talk back no lara pesoglo. Make him think no man no can place clear. Now make him all people understand him to this life. None of the something he must get. Big research go inside of this like activity. Find him out good. Want him something bakama.
So what happens now? How do we approach these issues? Well, the only thing that now it comes to is that landowners and concerned citizens have to start lobbying the very people that they have put in there into their offices. They are local members of parliament. It's the only way forward. They should be held accountable to their words and forced to act. That's the only way forward. These injustices can only be corrected with political will. And at the end of the day, much of the decisions that are being made affect people. And if those people keep quiet, if those people refuse to bring those to the attention of their leaders, then nothing will happen. Rise up, organize yourselves and talk to your local MPs, put pressure on them until they do the right thing. So that's the only way forward. I mean, the choice of going to courts is there, but that's a choice for people with the money and the time. And small people just don't have the money and the time. And besides, the courts are designed to protect interests of corporations anyway. The little people in the villages just don't have the avenue to address their grievances fairly. So the only option now for people is to rise up, organize themselves and pressure their local MPs into action. If the local MPs are not performing, they should be resigning. If the local MPs are not listening to their people's concerns, they should be resigning from office, and they should be told that. As individuals, we have to rise up, take ownership of issues and move forward with it, because if we don't, then no one else will.